Hey everyone, this is Cameron, the co-host and editor of Renegade Animation on renegadepopculture.com. If you like what we do, please give us a like, a follow, and a rating on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, or wherever you listen to us. We are where podcasts can be found. If you can, consider supporting our Patreon. That way we can keep doing what we love, and that's talking about the wild world of animation. And now, on with the show.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Renegade Animation on the Renegade Pop Culture Podcast Network. My name is Mike. I'll be your host this evening. Joining me, as always, is the animation guru himself, Cameron.
Howdy.
And, of course, everyone's favorite Crazy Lemur, Bree.
Hello.
And we got a couple great movies to talk about today. We've got a new movie from screenwriter Mario Kata, Fureru. Plus, we finally get to talk about All You Need Is Kill. But before we get there, we do have some sad news. On Saturday, January 17th, we lost the great Roger Allers at age 76.
Yeah, the man behind one of the most important movies of not just the 90s, not just in animation, just
like ever,
with the man behind The Lion King. And one of the most underrated movies from 2015, Khalil Gibran's The Prophet, which Salma Hayek was a star and executive producer of, where he brought some of the most amazing talent in the world to bring these poems and songs to life, like Bill Plimpton, Cartoon Saloon's Tom Moore. It's amazing what this guy did, and yet he doesn't have the filmography that others do. I mean, yes, that, like, whatever, he's not...
I mean,
like a Pete
he
Docter.
was nominated for a goddamn Tony.
Exactly, he was also behind the Lion King Broadway adaptation. Like, the dude was really freaking important to the world of film. And
just entertainment in general, like, because I have vague recollections of, like, what New York City was. I mean, Times Square at that point was kind of, like, cleaned up, but Lion King literally changed how Broadway works.
Exactly, like, oh, man. And yes, you could say, like, well, he also directed Open Season. Dude, who the fuck cares? That's the only historical importance Open Season has, outside the fact that it has a surprising number of direct-to-video sequels, is the fact that it was Sony's first animated movie. And he also directed the wonderful The Little Match Girl short that I think was originally supposed to be a part of Fantasia 2000, but didn't get in. But you can watch it now on Disney+. And, like, the dude deserves so much more credit than what he has gotten. Like, I'm sorry he's not the, who was the duo behind, like, Treasure Planet and Aladdin?
That was John...
Musker.
John Musker and Ron Clements, yep.
Yeah, it's like, yes, he might not be as big as them, but man, like, it sucks. Too many good creative people are dying recently. It sucks. And, Bree, I'm gonna let you talk about this. What is something that you've noticed that a lot of reporting on this guy's legacy in life have they been, quote-unquote, conveniently leaving out?
Okay, so how do I put this lightly? You know what? Let me just rip the Band-Aid off. Roger Allers, I don't know what label he specifically used, and honestly, at the end of the day, that doesn't matter. I don't believe in, like, speculation, but he was in a relationship with his partner who I believe is a classical musician from Zimbabwe, I think. But anyway, him and Roger were definitely in a relationship. It's on their Instagram. They made donations together. They were seen together at Disney sanctioned events. Allers divorced his wife of many decades early in 2020, I would assume, so that he could pursue an open relationship. I don't think you have to be a rocket scientist to figure out that Roger Allers was one of many men of, like, Gen X or baby boomers that unfortunately had to live closeted most of their lives. I'm happy for him towards the end of his life, he could have like an open relationship and be in a loving relationship with this man. But I find it funny that arguably one of the most important creators in Disney's entire history that literally redefined what a Disney movie could do financially and the concept of like mega franchises also happened to be a queer man who was in a loving relationship with a man. I don't know if they were partners or if they were legally married. That's none of my business. And honestly, for the sake of this argument, it doesn't really matter. Several outlets either just conveniently left his partner out or just mentioned that he's survived by his ex-wife and children.
Like, with the fact that we're dealing with so much queer erasure right now in pop culture and just in the world in general, what are y'all doing? Like, it's important to name this because who else can you, name, put out one of the most important movies of all time? Like, again, Lion King was the B project. It was not the A project during that time. They said, now, Pocahontas is going to be our A project, and if you're not acting good, you're going to be sent to the Talking Animals movie. Whereas The Lion King became one of the most cherished movies of all time, and Pocahontas, a hollow, problematic
Oscar bait movie,
is a punchline and is basically the igniter of Disney's downfall as an artistic studio. Because, of course, the people in charge were like, we want a Best Picture nom, and we're going to do it by doing an incredibly unrealistic, non-accurate...
It's called We Saw Dancing with Wolves a few years earlier, and we're like, let's do that!
Let's do that and not show how horrifying Pocahontas' real life was. Because, whoo, you look up the history of that, it is not good.
And you know what the crazy thing about Pocahontas, which, by the way, is a movie that, yeah, I love to an extent, like, growing up. Yes, I realize it is problematic, but there's still, like, some good aspects of it. So many of its problems could have been avoided if they just made her a completely fictional character, which she essentially is anyway.
Like, they could have solved all their problems if they just made a wholly original story.
I mean, if Katzenberg wasn't just trying to trend chase getting an Oscar and made sure there was a movie to be had first, we wouldn't have that. Instead, he treated Roger Allers and the many amazing people that worked on Lion King's work as secondary, mediocre, compared to my Oscar bait. And, oh, how times have changed and history has shown who in the end won that battle.
I mean, I've networked and I've talked with a lot of the guys who worked on the movie. All of them are fantastic. Literally, some of the most amazing human beings on the face of the earth. Very open about talking about their experience on working with The Lion King and being at Disney in the early to mid 90s, and also just shooting the shit in general. It's actually incredible how many people just kind of fell into The Lion King. Of course, you have Rob Minskoff too, who was the co-director on Lion King. But then you also have people like Chris Sanders, Brenda Chapman, and countless others who worked on this movie.
Exactly. Just so many good people and talented people on there. And it's just a shame. Roger Allers deserves so much more love and attention. And yeah, he gets to leave the legacy of not only helming one of the most important movies of all time, but also one of the most important Broadway adaptations of all time. So the dude's got a pretty good sealed legacy, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But I kind of feel like, and this was of no fault of his own, I love The Emperor's New Groove, but if you've seen any of the Sweatbox, which I still can't believe it's out because that Frozen 2 documentary is way more embarrassing, frankly. But oh my god, will you see what Empire from the Sun went to? That it was originally going to be this big, epic, I guess Lion King-esque style movie. And then it turns into The Emperor's New Groove, which, don't get me wrong, it's a great movie in its own right. It's still like, holy shit.
Yeah, no, it's a shame that the original version did not come through because they just were struggling because we might have not had Katzenberg, but we still had Eisner to deal with. And even though I will wholly love, like, every fiber of the Emperor's New Groove's being, it is a lightning in a bottle kind of situation we are never going to get again. I would have loved to have seen what the Empire of the Sun would have looked like, fully finished and such.
Yeah, because not only that, we lost out on a great Sting soundtrack.
And the fact that, like you said, with the Frozen 2 documentary, they are absolutely not afraid to show that they had no idea what they were doing, and they struggled for years to try to make a sequel happen, but it made $1 billion at the box office, so I guess they tried to paint it as, we went through trials and came out victorious, even though Frozen 2 is considered one of the worst movies in Disney's catalog right now, but, who am I to say?
Which I don't even think that's close, it's just, I would say it's the most head-scratching.
I think that's fair.
I would say Chicken Little and Home on the Range, bar none, are far worse movies with less redeeming qualities.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I agree. I'm just saying,
But of the current Disney trend, then I would probably agree. Although, I would say Ralph Breaks the Internet takes the cake in that one.
Well, it's like that, Wish, and Frozen 2 are the lowest tier that they've made so far. But, Roger Allers has such a widespread impact. He was one of the original animators alongside so many other big names like Brad Bird in what was it called? The Animal Olympics? That weird time capsule of a bit of animation where they did the animals doing the Olympics.
Not only that, he worked on Tron.
Yeah. The dude's wickedly talented. It will not be the same without him. And I wish we could have seen what that new musical that he was working on would have been.
I'm still hoping it has a regional or off-Broadway run. Because I don't know what it's about, but I'm really intrigued by the talent behind it. Other than his partner, several people from the Lion King Broadway musical, including the guy who did the puppets in costumes on Julie Taymor's Lion King, is involved. It's it looks like an interesting avant-garde project.
Yeah, here's hoping, at least something can come out of it. And if you haven't seen it, please do watch Khalil Gibran's The Prophet. It is so good, y'all. Just a highly underrated animated experience that really should have got more love, but it came out the same year as freaking Inside Out. It's man, come on. It's how I loved Kubo and the Two Strings the most out of 2016, and yet it happened to come out sandwiched in between Moana and Zootopia, so...
Yeah.
The world ain't fair with animation.
No, it isn't.
Just like how Crunchyroll is not treating its movie opportunities with respect. So, God, what a great segue. I'm so good at them. I'm being sarcastic, by the way. I'm really not. There's no other way to turn to it. Because, listen, on one hand, I am so freaking happy, at least for right now. We have no anime compilation movies, 3-episode, bundle things hitting theaters, or is in our release schedule. We are talking about, for literally a month in a row, wholly made-to-be-made movies from the anime industry. I am so happy about that, because I think I drove myself a little nuts trying to be okay, Mike, let's go. Let's talk about this new anime compilation movie, because there's sure as hell's nothing else coming out. It was oh God, it was the worst relationship you can think of.
But finally, you see the oasis in the desert.
Pretty much.
It's this whole month is an apology of we're sorry. We'll make sure you see some actual real movies. Because I don't treat the compilation movies as movies. I clock them in my
TV
letterbox.
specials.
I mean, it's so frustrating how many of those took up months upon months of last year when every other freaking company, or hell, Toho, like through G Kids or whatever, could have put out 100 meters or something like that. Or like so many other movies, instead of having us wait 5 or 6 months to finally get some of these movies. Like, All You Need Is Kill probably could have been a much bigger deal if it didn't get shoved into January, where, I'm sorry, the voters are done. Nobody, unless they've watched the screeners or went to Animationist Film, like me, a complete lunatic about animation, did. It's like, oh God, it was so maddening last year. And yet, Crunchyroll just doesn't seem to care about its movie pickups. Because the first movie we're talking about, Fureru, I remember seeing it at my Alamo Draft House. Like, it was advertised on the website. I don't know if it was probably a part of one of those one-night Fathom event style events that they were doing. And then it just quietly showed up on Crunchyroll. Listen, if you follow anime production, the names behind behind this movie should have been, like, a way bigger deal. Tatsuyuki Nagai, the director, is behind so many recent amazing anime, whether it's Anohana, Toradora, Musishi, The Anthem of the Heart, or one of Mike and I's favorite gems from either 2024 or, yeah, I think it was 2024, Her Blue Sky. And then you had the amazing, maybe not always consistent, Mario Kata, who wrote and directed one of the most heartbreaking movies of 2018 with Makia, When the Promised Flowers Bloom, or one of the most visually stunning animated films from Japan, Maboroshi. It's so, like, they just dumped it onto their service, and that's it. And does, like, Crunchyroll and dude, like, the anime industry in just general hate movies?
Methinks.
Is it because it's like a one-time purchase? Because it's like, it always seems like they're not excited about bringing them over because they're a one-time purchase. You can't print out like season 1 part 1 or season 2 part 3 or whatever. And they don't even give this thing a dub, which, fine, whatever. I don't mind reading subtitles unless it's late at night. They just dump these movies onto the service with no fanfare. It's just more content. And that's a shame. It's like how Netflix treats movies, especially with what's going on right now with Netflix buying Warner Brothers. Oh, what a pleasant hellscape we live in with the entertainment industry.
Oh, yes, the most warmest, pleasantest of fire and brimstone.
Yeah. It's just a shame because like Crunchyroll will pick up, like, granted, mostly like 80 to 90% of most anime that comes out every season. Fine, whatever. They're like one of the few that aren't Prime, Netflix, or High Dive. Or I guess more accurately, Sentai Filmworks. But they will bring over so much of the most unwatchable, unpleasant pieces of shit, give them dubs, and release them thinking that they're going to be the biggest hits of the season, but a really interesting, compelling movie from one of the coolest female creatives in the anime industry gets like a one-night stand and then quietly shoved onto Crunchyroll during a very packed winter season. And that sucks. I don't even care if this movie was mediocre or whatever. It's like, if you're buying too much that you can't properly support it, then what are you doing? It's not like you need more PR disasters behind y'all, especially with the whole translation controversy or the fact that you guys let AI translated subtitles onto your service. Yes, you may have fixed them, but that's the thing. You only get one impression, and if someone thinks that it's just going to be constant AI like translated subtitles for your like 50th isekai, then what are you doing, Crunchyroll? Just let someone else have this. Which is funny because Toho and Aniplex are big names behind Fureru, and yet G Kids didn't want to pick it up. It's whatever. It's like, Toho, you have so much money right now, especially with the fact that your choice for the best international feature Oscar is it's like raking in money left and right in Japan. And it hasn't even hit the US yet. But whatever, just whatever. I'm never going to fully understand the business behind companies like Crunchyroll, or I guess technically Sony or whatever. It sucks because people aren't going to know about this movie, and that's a shame.
Yeah, but that's why this podcast exists, because we get to be the ones who get to shine the light on these smaller releases.
Like, there were some released last year that I really wanted to get to, but they released them so much, like, at once. And it was just like, we can't do this right now. We're really busy. But let's finally talk about Fureru. So, childhood friends find a creature with mysterious powers that pushes them to discover the bonds that tie the three students together. Essentially, they find a deity-like entity that takes the form of a hedgehog going Super Saiyan, and it's like, okay, so here's the base reason why you should watch this movie, like the foundational reason. It's a young adult drama, which is something we rarely get with anime these days anyway, all about the importance of using those things called communication and emotions. Because what's interesting is the lead that finds the Super Saiyan hedgehog, like, he's not non-verbal, but he had a troubling childhood and home life to where he would find more, quote unquote, success with communication with people or his feelings by punching people. And he's not like a gang leader or anything like that. He was just a kid who had trouble communicating. And, like, it's a really small scale, like, compelling little narrative about these three, well, they are friends, but even the movie challenges that, because what the little Super Dragon Ball hedgehog does is basically makes all three of them, when they hold hands, are able to basically speak their true thoughts. And I think that's a very cool little gimmick for this movie.
Yeah, I do like the premise of this quite a bit. It's very much a Mario Okada thing. She tells these, like, emotionally grounded stories, but also with a supernatural element. And I think this one, this might be, it's definitely not my favorite that she's written, but the supernatural element actually kind of, it works in in service of the theme better than something like A Whisker Away.
Oh god, A Whisker Away. I remember looking forward to that because, hey, Mario Okada's behind it. It can't be bad. And then you watch it and it's like, this is bad.
Oh, this did not cook at all.
Unless you find a young girl stalking her school crush and being able to turn into a cat, which becomes a metaphor for depression, like, endearing, when if she was a guy stalking a girl, and that was the whole romantic push and drive for the movie. Yeah, somewhere. And speaking of stalkers, there is an actual, like, stalking plot, because, like, our three friends move to Tokyo and they get jobs, or at least two of them get jobs while one of them goes to fashion school. And they meet these two women, and one of them ends up having a stalker who, spoilers, it turns out to be the teacher to one of the friends' fashion school. And it's like, there are so many cool, creative shots. And when you realize that there's a stalker and such, some of those shots turn into really creepy situations. Like, you see the two ladies on the train, and after they're done talking, it zooms out, and then you find out that the zooming out part of the shot was from the lens of the stalker's phone. And it's not the most eloquently written part of the movie. Though, listen, I'm not saying I want every animated film from Japan's plot to be dirt simple, straightforward, shonen franchise hype nonsense. But if you're going to have an extremely abstract premise, like Hedgehog connects friends to not hide their emotions and their true thoughts for one another, you gotta make the landing. And I think that's where this movie falls apart, is in that third act.
Yeah, that's where I would still say the ending was good, but getting there, pretty much the last half hour is when this movie unravels, and we get one of those classic anime third acts where, everything is going pretty smoothly, but oh no, there's this big disaster happening.
Basically what happens is the three friends' friendship gets put to the challenge after there's a crevasse thing that divides their friendship with the two women. And it's like, there was one point where I was like, wait a minute, do I hate these characters or these three guys? Because there's this whole misunderstanding between, the possible romantic interest between one of the ladies and one of the guys. And when it becomes a incredibly awkward misunderstanding, it's like, the guy who's in, the real estate gig calls one of the ladies a slut for no reason.
What?
When I heard it, I'm like, wait, what? What?
I know the Japanese workplace is toxic, but holy shit.
It's like, I understand what they're doing, where this is what happens when you do not convey your true feelings and emotions and such, but it's easily the worst part of the movie. Especially with the fact that, by the end, when the three friends are like, we are no longer going to hide behind our inner thoughts and feelings. We're going to be open and honest with one another. The stalker subplot just wraps itself up. I don't know what happened during production, but it does seem like they needed something to happen to one of the girls, because the stalker does come back and injures the women, but the women, on top of the hedgehog, are plot devices. And they're not bland or non-characters, but it's also they don't feel as intertwined into the plot as much as it should have. Because if you aren't going to take a stalker plot seriously, especially with the fact that Japan and a lot of the world has issues with stalkers, then I'm sorry, I think you gotta cut it.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. The stalker subplot, it feels a bit tacked on compared to the meat of this story.
Hey, also, can I just have an opinion as a woman here for 5 seconds? So, here's a funny story about me. I had a stalker in college. It got so bad to the point where I was still figuring out my sexuality, and I had to out myself to say, dude, I do not want to fuck you. I do not want a relationship with you. I am trying to be nice, because the other thing is the dude was on the spectrum, so it's I don't want to be a total fucking asshole about this. But yeah, if you're gonna do a storyline like that, because it is such a prevalent, especially in Japan, of an issue, then make it count. Having it just be this wishy-washy, tacked-on drama to be lay gasp, just get the fuck out of here.
That is one of the big problems with Mario Kata's writing, and I don't think she's ever quite recovered that from that, A Whisker Away and this movie, I mean, apparently she's had kind of like inconsistent writing, and that's not a problem in of itself. But when you are tackling certain subject matters, you do need to be careful and respectful of it. This is why, like, shows like Goblin Slayer got such a huge negative pushback, even when the rest of the show is fine. It treated sexual assault as legasp drama because it's never like that again in a show. So it's like she's not very good at coming up with certain conflicts. Like, I don't know, maybe it was just another lightning in a bottle situation with Makia when the promised flowers bloom. But that whole movie using these characters who were immortal, with one of them becoming a mother, and focusing on a great, heart-wrenching, beautiful story about motherhood, never, like, we don't see that again with Mario Kata. Even, like, Her Blue Sky, even though it's a way better movie, I think, than this, had its moments where it's like, okay, Mario Kata either didn't have time or didn't know quite how to solve this plot part up, because her third acts tend to be, for me at least, the worst parts. Except for Whisker Away, where the last third was actually the best part.
Yeah, that's like the one exception.
And I love her work. She's great for the most part, but because, like, yes, the problem is that the hedgehog in Fureru essentially wipes any negative thoughts out of the system, because it's like, no, you don't mean these words. Talk about how you really feel. And it's like, cool, interesting, but then it goes avant-garde and abstract at the end. And I know the creative and, I mean, the director and writer have been in these, like, projects before where they have, like, a really interesting idea, go for it in an abstract way, and has, like, great emotional payoff. But it's not paced well. It's not like this is a super long movie. It's an hour 40. Yeah, an hour 43 minutes or so.
Ish, yeah.
But the way that this movie is paced is so slow. And it just kind of takes forever for plot lines to start wrapping up. It's like the main guy is like, I was jealous because y'all could be friends with one another, and I had a hard time doing that, so I cheated using the hedgehog to be able to communicate with y'all. I mean, I know, it sounds so stupid out of context, but it makes more sense when you watch the movie. And it looks good. I mean, it's Cloverworks. They're one of the best in the industry. It has a few good shots and bits of cinematography.
Yeah, and even in the third act, when it gets all, all esoteric and weird in the like inside the hedgehog.
Yeah, the let's strap in motherfuckers of it all.
Yeah, like that still looks gorgeous.
It's just needed some more polish, or at least a more straightforward way of solving things. Like I said, the stalker subplot is in any way important to the end product. The stalker is just sitting there waiting, and it just so happens that 2 police officers show up, and then that's it. You don't even see the women again after everything wraps up. It ends with the 3 guys going their separate ways as better friends than before. Which, I don't know. I think I would be questioning my friendship if a hedgehog deity was taking away my negative thoughts without my consent.
Yeah, that's, I don't know, that's kind of a shitty friend in my opinion.
It's like, no negative thoughts, just be happy. And it's like, no! Which is, like, partially the point. Is that, like, I mean, as much as I am more down for more optimism and positivity, there is a moment in time where it's like, okay, it's okay to be sad or upset, because sometimes these 3 friends, like sometimes friends do, screw each other over. Especially with that romantic misunderstanding. That is absolutely on one of the friends. Like, but the movie does make sure to say that it is. It doesn't try to brush it aside. But I also understand why maybe Crunchyroll didn't want to put this one out. I wouldn't say it's a harder sell than most of the anime they bring over.
I mean, I think you're mostly talking on principle that they're not releasing it. That basically the only things, that they put, like, any, like, serious effort in releasing is, stuff that's already really popular in Japan, or basically Shonen Jump, whatever, that is going to make a shit ton of money.
Yeah, it's a principle thing of it all.
And that's why I would say this, like, what Crunchyroll is doing with their original movies is actually kind of worse than Netflix, because at least Netflix will pretend they care. They'll put out,
at least they'll get a trailer.
Yeah, this, like, I think the only reason I knew that this movie existed, aside from Cameron showing us in our group chat, but just like the bare minimum of marketing on, like, Facebook from the Crunchyroll's page, that's literally the extent of, like, how I was aware of this movie to begin with.
Yeah, like, at least Netflix, like, they'll do a little trailer, and then they'll at least have on, like, their YouTube channel, like, hey, here's what's coming to Netflix this month.
Or they'll have, like, little clips and stuff released on that day. To be like, hey, here's a little bit of this movie or show. Maybe it'll entice you to watch it and subscribe to us. This one just got dumped on there, just like, yeah, whatever, here you go. There's a hedgehog in it. You Sonic weirdos go nuts.
We know you're out there. We were there on DeviantArt in, like, the early 2000s. We know you were there, you little shits.
Oh, boy. But in the end, Fureru is a good movie. It's going to be hugely underseen by people, so hopefully if any of this sounds interesting because you're sick and tired of all the isekais, mediocre harems, and edgelord nonsense, give this one a watch. But we got to move on to the main event, the major reason why we're doing this podcast, and which is something that makes me so happy that you guys finally get to see All You Need Is Kill,
which kicks so much goddamn ass, holy shit.
Yes.
So, this is the second adaptation of the manga, which apparently does deviate from the manga itself. From what I recall, the director was like,
I think originally it was a light novel first, and the manga, so technically, I think this is adaptation number 3.
Yeah, that's fair. So, and even then, the director is like, yeah, I still want to do my own thing with it. Like, it's funny how no one is interested in adapting this 1v1. They just like the base idea and want to make their own movie around it. They just happen to have the rights and the name of it and such. Which, hey, whatever. Not every adaptation needs to be one-on-one.
Exactly.
And such. I mean, we've seen those directors who do, like, remakes or adaptations where they're like, I love this source material so much, I cannot cut anything out no matter what. And then it's like, hey, Peter Jackson, maybe you could have cut out a few minutes out of the King Kong remake. Still love the movie, but still.
Like, the biggest war crime is that we will never get the Guillermo del Toro version of The Hobbit.
Such a missed opportunity.
That's because all the rights holders didn't know how to goddamn act. Oh, whatever, though. Whatever, it's fine. No Del Toro Hobbit is fine. We're not mad.
Or even worse, no Del Toro Haunted Mansion.
That one hurts even more.
Oh yeah, it does. Especially since the Haunted Mansion movie, technically, it's a little bit better than the Eddie Murphy one, although I have a soft spot for it, but every time Jared Leto is on the screen.
Maybe this is a sign that Disney and Hollywood in general need to stop hiring Jared Leto. He's box office poison, man.
Look, the only reason that third Tron movie even happened is because he was friends with, like, a producer and was self-funding it. So he made his, like, weird little fanfic movie.
Oh, whatever.
Like, I wish people would fund my fanfics. The reason we're saying all this is that if you have a great story, and you have people with a vision, and you're open to change, you could get some kick-ass shit, and honestly, this is my little soapbox. Anyone who said, oh, this art style is ugly, just fuck, go to a museum. I don't know what to do with you. I want to shake you. And you know what? I showed this to like a friend and colleague of mine. He said, "Oh, this looks like, French anime kick-assness." I'm like, "Thank you. You get it. Bless."
I mean, that's the big thing about this movie. It's like, this is Studio 4C. They put out amazing animation, like, non-stop. It is constant with them. But people are always like, herp-a-derp, like, it's all just animation, there's nothing else to them, or, this is a weird-looking movie because it doesn't look like my anime waifu pillows and such. And it's just like, that was one of the major things I saw from people reacting to All You Need Is Kill, is the fact that they were like, the female lead doesn't have a traditional creepy anime statue body type. And it's like, yeah, that's why it's great, because it has a visual distinction that makes it stand out. It has an identity. It's not just cookie cutter anime production bullshit number 502.
And you know what? Like, before we get into it, here's like the really unique thing other than the animation that's stood out. Just for those who don't know, basically in this adaptation, the lead Rita is basically, no, well, actually is. It's the character played by Emily Blunt in Edge of Tomorrow. And it's unique in that it's the only incarnation where Rita is the lead character instead of just a supporting character. And it really changes the context of like the whole story.
Oh yeah, no, this totally flips the script on the version that most people saw in Edge of Tomorrow. This is, in fact, it's probably even darker, like when you really get into Rita's backstory.
Okay, so I want to bring that up because to me that felt like the weakest part of the movie. Now, granted, this movie only had 80 minutes to tell its story, but I found the backstory to feel, I don't know if I would say tacked on is the right word, but it felt like the movie had to push it aside slightly because of how they introduce another character who has the same situation of, every time I die, my day restarts.
You know what? I think what the issue for me is, like, to me, like, I feel like they hinted at that and explains like why she's like so distant. Spoiler warning, it's child abuse. Because yeah, I just feel like maybe they should have been a little bit more obvious with it, maybe earlier in the second act versus like the third act.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Or at the very least, like the movie as a whole could have just like added just a few more minutes to flesh that out a little bit more.
Because for the most part, if you've seen Edge of Tomorrow, it's pretty much the same premise. Alien invasion, but instead of these generic Hollywood alien monsters, there are these cool, vibrant flower-like entities that pop out of pretty much a tree that has landed on Earth. And because the fact that the two main characters kill an alien at the same time, they end up with the same ability to, every time they die, they repeat the day. It goes through the paces, especially if you've seen the plot before or seen the Tom Cruise movie. But there's a few distinctions of how they make it different. For one, they definitely have the same notion of, you can be a little funny with the premise. Like, there are some moments in the movie that are funny. But I mean, like, what do y'all think? What would you say, like, makes this one different compared to like the one that everyone has seen, or technically has seen, but it's not like, because Edge of Tomorrow didn't do well in theaters and then became a huge cult favorite.
I think what you said actually kind of helps it stand out. It, like I said before, that Rita's backstory can be a little bleak, but the other side characters actually have a lot more personality. So it's fun to see them like throughout the different variations of that day.
Well, and with what happens, because they just like they find out in in the live action movie, they find out what happens if they do this specific thing differently. But I will say, it is interesting how this one is way more focused on Rita and the other guy that's in the movie. Because it introduces like distinct looking side characters, but they don't really play a part in the progress of what's going on.
Yeah. So it's like interesting because Kaye, who the original is protagonist of All You Need Is Kill, and who Tom Cruise's character is based on, Edge of Tomorrow. And so basically him and Rita switch roles from what I understand.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it works in this movie.
Well, except for like in Edge of Tomorrow, Tom is the only one that can do the time repeat, the Groundhog's Day thing. Here, we get two of them, and the twist is, if one of them dies, they both go back. So, they go through so many, like, ways. Like, I think by the end, they said, like, what, like, over 300 deaths?
Something like that.
Oh, boy, sounds like when anytime you play a really frustrating boss in a video game, it's like you finally beat it on the 15th time around. It's like fighting Sephiroth in Kingdom Hearts 2.
Jesus.
Oh, jeez, yeah. I remember that day, it took me about 10 tries, and then I was like, yes! Now I get a Keyblade that I'm not going to use. Okay.
It's all about the journey, Cameron.
No, it's not worth it! Get me more! But it is like, they try to paint it more as like a mystery and it's a more personal story. There's no like evil queen alien or whatever. It's like the plan is the big tree thing is more like, yeah, I landed on this thing. We're not here because of any particular reason. It's
just like a pure malevolent force.
Exactly. It's not here to steal your boba, like in the day the Earth blew up. And how they, like, through one part of it, they were like, one of these aliens acts differently than the others. So they go through that, and God, I think, the director was not here at Animationist Film, but I have to assume this is all CGI. I mean, there are moments where it's 2D animation, but I have to assume a lot of it is CGI. The CGI looks great, and it helps that they have these, like, really out there, like, blocky designs for everyone. It's like early cel-shaded video games, like Jet Set Radio and such.
You know what I think they might be doing is they might be doing 3D animation and doing 2D tweens, because I'm pretty sure that's the technique that MAPPA did for Attack on Titan the final season, where they would have like the keyframes be traditional 2D.
I could see that.
That would explain why like it blends together better than most like anime productions where you can tell when it's using CG and when it's traditional animation.
I love the designs for everything in this movie. I think the aliens look really cool. I think the giant malevolent tree looks cool, especially when they get to the bulb of the tree.
Oh, yeah, and by the way, if you have epilepsy, just fair warning, like, there's a lot of flashes in this movie, but holy shit, does it look cool.
Yeah.
Like, it is one of the most vibrant looking movies from last year. And to hear people say, like, the animation's kind of weird, it's like, shut up.
If you say it looks weird, just from, like, the character designs, like, that's not, like, the animation. Just say that I'm not vibing with the character design. But, you know, I disagree. I think the character designs look amazing. But we, like, as a society, need to stop conflating character designs with animation. Just stop.
Yes, I agree with that.
At the very least, animation quality. Like, there are some movies and shows where they have, like, funny enough, we can compare it to this, because it's celebrating its either 20th or 30th anniversary of Hoodwinked. Like, that movie objectively, and I know
Has
objective,
aged like milk.
it doesn't look good at all, but you come
No.
back to it because it had solid writing and such. You don't go back to it like Toy Story because the animation looked good. It's a creepy looking movie with how clunky it all is. But you like the take on the premise there. With all you need is kill, you got both the writing, even if it can be a little clunky at times, but the animation looks wonderful. The vibrant world, like the many ways that they make this one location of the big tree look, is amazing. Especially like you get these vibrant yellows, blues, pinks, like so much. It is a visually stunning movie.
You know what, like, it reminds me a lot of? The end climax of Into the Spider-Verse when they're in, like, the collider. It
Yes.
reminds me so much of that.
Oh,
I was actually
absolutely.
thinking the same thing.
Let's talk about the third act, because this is where it also differentiates from the Tom Cruise movie, where instead of being like, okay, we're going to get this ragtag team of people to defeat the alien mother core thing, whatever, it's pretty much between Rita and, what's the guy's character again? KG. Which also, again, I like KG. I think his backstory is solid enough. He also has the same issue of just like, we got the last 20 minutes, but here's my backstory and why I laugh all the time. And such. It's like that one clip from Brooklyn Nine-Nine that goes around from time to time where Officer Holt is with this one guest character officer who just like, there's guns pointed at them, and she just unloads her tragic backstory of like, I gotta find my sister's kill. Don't you remember me telling you that? No! It's like, what are you talking about? Like, I'll show you all the clip after this, but that's what the thing. It's like, they find out that they can't loop one more time or else the alien entity will have taken them both over, which, boy, when you think that they go back, like when the day restarts again, ooh, God, that's a creepy reveal of like,
Oh, yeah, that.
when she wakes up and there's like the roots all in the room and such, like, and it's funny. This movie has like some vibrant designs. It is gory, like body counts of people dying or getting eaten, and blood everywhere. It's going to be visible on screen. It's not going to be any of that Hell of a Summer bullshit where they kill a majority of the characters off screen.
No, you're gonna see people, like, bisected, like, head smashed in. Like, it is some nasty shit.
So nasty, but it never feels like it's trying too hard, or like that late 80s, early 90s era of hyper-violent anime OVAs, where it's just like, we're not having to follow broadcast standards, so we can be as violent as we want.
And show all those uncensored titties. Like, this is not the 80s Devilman OVAs.
No, not at all. But what happens is that apparently only one of the two main characters can be taken over, so the other one has to find a way to kill the core, but neither of them will make it out of this version of reality. And that's when a lot of the warning epileptic parts start happening. Like, you look at one of the posters for All You Need Is Kill, it looks great. It's a very cool design. The whole part of when Keiichi gets possessed,
Oh, that was so fucked up.
it was fucked up. But do you remember, like, I don't know if y'all have seen these nature documentaries about, like, snails getting infected with a worm or, like, some kind of parasitic entity, and they're...
Or, like, the cordyceps, like the IRL version, not the Last of Us version.
Yeah, no, and what happens is, like, the parasitic worm or whatever, like, takes control, and their eyes, or the stalks, like, are, like, look like a strobe, like a late night neon party. it's very cool looking. That's what happens with Keiji when he gets possessed and such, even though it is like a little epileptic at that point. But it seems like this movie's main core theme is to push through the hard times and to keep fighting to live. Like, no matter how hard the trials of life have thrown at you and such.
Yeah, that's actually what I like about this movie. It's like it does have its bleak moments, but it's not cynical. It is a very optimistic movie about, you know, pushing through the hardships and living to see another day.
And honestly, that's what I like about it too, because you could easily just be like end on a bittersweet note. But I feel like this movie is also like very earnest in a way. Like, it doesn't feel cynical at all. Like, the messaging to me is very clear. And it's kind of nice to have a version of this story that ends on a happier note.
Yeah, no, it's a great optimistic ending. So many of the movies I watched last year at Animation is Film were all like, holy shit, the world is on fire right now. We have to keep fighting for a better future. And you could just feel that from all the directors. I know we're going to pick apart the writing in Scarlet when we finally see it, but you just wanted to give every director a hug. It's like, are you guys working out stuff? And you're just using art to convey the immense stress and hell that we have been through these last 6 years or more. It's like, do you all need a hug? Do you want some milk? You want a cookie? We got cookies. Like I said, Scarlet, Artichoke, All You Need Is Kill, Chainsaw Man, Reze Arc, Nobody, Little Amelie. It's like, all of them are all about dealing with hardships and going through them and such. And it's like, it was like the best lineup in a while from an animationist film festival, but it's also like the bleakest because everyone's not okay.
That is pretty much art in the 2020s. Everyone is not okay.
But see, that makes the art great and on point. If we could just all be sad together. Like, literally, the last 6 years or whatever have been like that one scene of Barbie where everyone's dancing, and then Margot Robbie Barbie goes, "Hey, have you guys ever thought about dying?"
Pretty much. Like, oh gosh. I mean, like, even like one of my favorite movies that I saw last year, Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die, which, please do go see that movie. I understand if Bleecker Street fucks up the distribution for that movie, but please go see it. Because I almost lost like myself with that movie in the sense of I was with it until I wasn't. And then it ends on a hugely optimistic note that, like, yes, it's going to be extremely difficult and time consuming to get ourselves out of, especially these last 2 years. But we can do it. And that's what's so great about All You Need Is Kill. It's going to suck getting there, but we can and will rise above everything going on because, golly, God is, or whoever is in charge of this chaotic universe we live in, is putting us through our paces right now.
Yeah, not to get too personal, but I needed a movie like All You Need Is Kill, like, to kick off this year because I need 2026 to be a much better year than the last couple years have been.
Oh boy, howdy, do we need something to happen in 2026 to turn it all around. Please! But, that's why art is good, and it can convey, through creative ways, how tough it is right now. But, yeah, it's just, All You Need Is Kill is good. I still am pretty happy with having it in my top 20 from last year. 2025 just became a crowded spot for animation, so it didn't quite make my top 10, and I still think it would still be in my top 20 if it was of this year, but I am loving it more the more I watch it, and I think if you are hung up on the character design, get the fuck over it.
Also, one other thing we have to note, how great this dub is.
Oh my god, the dub is amazing.
Stephanie Sheh is so good as Rita, like,
it's her, it's a normal register, but it's also, not her. This might be her best role in, 2 decades. Not gonna lie.
Is this one of her first like lead performances?
No, she's had
don't-
she's had lead performances before. Now for movies, that's a different topic that I'm not entirely sure. She's been like lead characters before, and
Right, but NYAV Post like killed us, and like the last year or so, especially, we've had so many kind of dubs. Like this felt like an early 2000s, like Cowboy Bebop, like quality dub. I'm like, oh, thank fucking God, thank you, Stephanie Shea. Thank you, Michael Saint Nicholas. I am sorry, I am fucking up your name so hard. Like, you guys have been consistent with dubs, but this was like the best non Studio Ghibli dub in a long ass time.
exactly. And like the whole cast is pretty good. Jaden Muniz, Lisa K. Jennings, Shirami Lei, Johnny Cruz, Dave Fenoy is there, Victoria Grace, Michael Centerniclis, and Joyo Fudo. And it's just good all around. It's like you said, it's a primo dub. And it's like a good dub just really does make movies and anime and shows and films so much like more compelling to sit through, which is something that we're apparently having to struggle with right now with dubs, because Prime is like, oh, we'll go all out for some dubs, but then we'll use a cheap studio dub.
Hey, you wanted to make anime great again? Well, guess what? We're gonna do it exactly like how we did it in the 80s.
Or use AI, which I know they shut that shit down. Like, they were forced to shut that shit down hard. But
The fact that it at all is just disappointing and frustrating.
so shitty of them to do what they did. Like, fuck off, Amazon. You have so much money. You do not need to cheap out on dubs.
But
whatever.
if our Amazon driver starts singing, like, what will we do?
We'll just go somewhere else. But yeah, seriously, All You Need Is Kill is so freaking good. Just, if you can see it, because it's gotten like a wider release than most movies that G Kids puts out. Like 100 Meters didn't get a week-long release out in the wild and such. Little Amelie, their like bread and butter Oscar nomination title, just got like 3 days in theaters. Or maybe 4, but still, the point is, like, All You Need Is Kill is getting like a week or so of it, and just cool, good on G Kids for giving this thing a wider release, and good job with the team of Kenichiro Akimoto and Yoichiro Kido, like the writer, and the art direction of Izumojuki Takanori Nakajima and Tomotaka Kubo for making this very cool looking movie. And the music's really cool. This like sci-fi synth, like mix of techno and the what's the movie? Annihilation. Like mixture.
It was like, the best way I can describe it is it was kind of very like early, like A.G. Cook, Thin Keen-esque.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it just good stuff, man. Just go see it if you can. It'll probably end up on digital within the next month or two. Depends on when G Kids can put it out on Blu-ray, mind you, but still, go see it. It's really cool. Just a good movie to start, like, begin the year with. Even though it's still a 2025 movie, but still. We have no idea what we're doing next time. So, we're talking it over right now. We're either going to talk about, like, the Mighty Nine, we're going to talk about some indie pilots, we definitely want to talk about Arco as it hits its wide release, but we'll see.
Until next time, Bree, where can everyone find you online?
Well, that's the usual question, isn't it? If you want to find me, you can find me at crazylemur.bsky.social. I am also on Instagram at lemurs1, where I am finally posting more pictures and doggo content, so if you care to see some of my non-shenanigans, go look there.
And Cameron?
You can find me on Blue Sky at camsiview.biz. I have my own website called camsiview.biz where I talk about films and shows from around the world called The Other Side of Animation. I have a Patreon at patreon.com/camsiview. And I am a contributor to Media Magpies, your new one-stop shop for written, like, pop culture, film, TV show, game, conversations and such. That's where you can find me.
And you guys can find me on various social media sites at Captain K42. You can check out my quick thoughts on letterboxd.com/CoachK42. And you can follow Renegade Pop Culture on Facebook and Blue Sky at Renegade Pop Culture. You can also find us on YouTube at Renegade Pop Culture or at Organoid Zero. You can also find us on Podchaser. Consider supporting our Patreon at patreon.com/Renegade Pop Culture. Listen to all of our podcasts on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen. And last but not least, everything can be found at renegadepopculture.com. Need an escape? So do we. That'll do it for this episode of Renegade Animation. We will catch you guys later. Peace out.